What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dr. Quack Show. Got another big list I'm getting ready to make here. I had a friend of mine, he wanted to have me do this here, and I figured, what the hell? I'm making a lot of these top 10 videos, and this is just all my opinion. By all means, I definitely want to hear yours, because if everybody agrees the same, then I feel like it's not a debatable point. And this is what I'm doing with these videos. I'm making debate here, I guess, because some people are going to agree with this list. But this list right here is my opinion. The top 10 greatest heels of all time. And what I mean by heels, of course, that's bad guy for all the layman terms out there, non-wrestling fans. But, to really make this list, you almost, have to be at least a high percentage of your career a bad guy, a heel. If not, it's kind of hard to make this list. And I'm going with people that really drew heat, that made you, when you were a kid or even an adult, watch wrestling and go, I want to see him get his ass kicked. Hell, I'm going to buy a ticket to see see him get his ass kicked. See, this is why I do that exercise. So here's my top 10, and this is kind of being just my opinion here. Number 10, Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns makes my list at number 10 because I have never in my life seen a guy draw so much heat without being a heel. And this is really reality of today's wrestling fan. Today's wrestling fan does not like people push down their throats. I don't put John Cena on this because he's not making this list on that, and I consider him more babyface anyways. But Roman Reigns, they're going to eventually push heel. You can eventually see that. There's just, it'd be stupid not to. But yeah, the people that they write on the pages, on Facebook, on social media, the videos that are made of him, the parodies. Yeah, this guy, has to make the list here because, he's one of those guys that people want to see get their ass kicked. They do. Personally, Roman Reigns to me is not bad. I've seen worse as far as the ring goes. I've seen better, just like anybody else. But I would definitely say he definitely gets a reaction. He is one of the better wrestlers today that gets a heel reaction. So number 9, this man is now in the commentary booth, but I'm going for most of his career where he was. And that would be JBL. John Bradshaw Layfield. Trust me, that man, he knew how to draw heat. That man, post-APA. APA, of course, people loved him, but, APA, you almost could call him a tweener, because he really wasn't the typical baby face and he wasn't the typical heel. But JBL, after his career, once he won the world title, people hated that. Oh my God, did people hate that. People wanted that title off him so bad. People didn't like his smugness, his, arrogance. Did not like that. And that what really drew him to have great matches that people watched. Depending on his opponent, he had really good matches. Some matches he didn't have that were really that great, but all in all, people hated him. And that's what drew money. And that's basically what I'm basing this off of. Number 8, I'm going with Big Van Vader there. Vader, for majority of his career, what was a heel. He had great rivalries with guys like Sting and Luger and such like that. He was involved in War Games. He won the world title with Flair too, and Hogan. He took on every big name baby face out there, and fans, they didn't cheer him. He was one of those guys where, he was out to destroy people. And of course, there's a story that Mick Foley told about, people would see their name to wrestle him, and they would pack up their bags and leave because he was that very devastating and terrifying, And that's why I would put him where. Number 7, the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man. Yeah, trust me. As a kid, people would get so mad at him. I mean, there's video out there when the kid was dribbling the basketball and he kicks it out from underneath their feet. For 15 and decides not to pay him the money. He made people eat dog food. It was somewhat comical, but a lot of people were very upset with it at that time in the 80s. That gimmick was definitely, one of the better heels in this business. I mean, of course, when, he tried to, get the title from Andre the Giant, he would go out there and, had it for 2 minutes and got stripped, but people were pissed at him for that. And then he came out with his own belt. They didn't like his arrogance on that either. And he drew money. He always took on high-quality opponents. Took on the Hogan, took on the Warrior, took on Macho Man, and others. Definitely. Anybody, Virgil. He made Virgil into a babyface. Trust me. Virgil, sorry, man. I'm not trying to bang on you, but there you go. So that's why I would put him at number 6. One of my favorite heels of all time, too, definitely. And that'd be Ravishing Rick Rude. He always come out there and he'd be like, "To all you fat, out of shape Pittsburgh sweat hogs, shut your mouth while I take my robe off and show the ladies what a real man looks like." I mean, that guy there. He had Bobby Heenan on top of it. Bobby Heenan was probably heads and shoulders above everybody else in the greatest managers. But I'll do that list later. He was definitely there. He was awesome to watch. I mean, Rick Rude, a great technician in the ring, knew how to draw the heat. I mean, he had quality matches and rivalries with guys like Jake Roberts, guys like The Ultimate Warrior, and others. I mean, this guy could draw heat. This guy knew how to make you mad. You wanted to see him get his ass kicked. You wanted to see him get embarrassed. That was totally one of the best people out there to watch wrestle as far as the 80s go. I mean, unfortunately, he never got the WWE title, which I think that's a shame. And now he's in the Hall of Fame, thank God. But truly one of the best heels in the 80s. Number 5, Vince McMahon. I mean, Vince McMahon, I thought did an excellent job. I mean, him and Stone Cold Steve Austin's rivalry. How many people wanted to see their boss get their asses kicked? How many people? A lot of people. It helped, Stone Cold Steve Austin's popularity soared, and Vince McMahon's hate and disgust was there as well. I mean, a lot of people did not like him, the character-wise. He did a great job drawing heat. It always drew money. It was one of the greatest rivalries probably of all time. It's definitely on that list. As we continue, I'm making more of these lists here. But that would be my number 5. Number 4, Ivan Koloff. Ivan Koloff was really, somebody who set the standard on being a heel, in my opinion. After he beat Bruno for the title, you've seen all of a sudden a lot of territories, a lot of Russian gimmicks. Even guys that weren't Russian, they're like, "We're going to call you Russian. If you're Italian or Canadian or something else, you're Russian now." And you would see that. Ivan Koloff drew a lot of heat because of the Cold War. This was all based on, the war, in real life. This is where that turned into. Because when he won that title, people were so mad. And they wanted to see his ass kicked. And, you had fans try to charge the ring. And you had things like that. And, I mean, he definitely did an excellent job. It wasn't a long-term title reign. But, definitely was memorable. Because, dude, without him, a lot of these other guys like Nikita and Nikolai and a lot of the other ones, Corporal Kirchner and, a bunch of other people that tried the Russian gimmick and some succeeded and some didn't. Without him, I don't know if they would have been possible. It could not have been. It could have. But I think without him, you're looking at a better shot of no. Number 3. The Iron Sheik. The Iron Sheik, man. I mean, you're going to talk about 70s and 80s. Another guy, Iran. Won an Olympic gold medal in Iran, in wrestling. The guy was talented. And but the guy drew some of the greatest heat I ever seen. I mean, he had, the boot camp match over there with Sergeant Slaughter. I mean, that match right there, him and Sergeant Slaughter there, America's hero versus the Iranian. That right there. And he was the one that started Hulkamania. He was the champion at the time, the one that put Hogan over. And, of course, most people know about that story about supposedly was getting paid to possibly break his leg. And he said, "No, I'm going to, put this man over and help Vince Sr., because Vince Sr. was a great guy for that. But he always drew heat. I mean, every match he was in, he knew how to piss off the crowd. Even to this day, if you read his Facebook page and Twitter account and things like that, he has many funny things. Go fuck yourself is a lot of things he'll say. It's funny if you don't have it on Facebook, watch that. The Sheik, he is funny as shit. Number two, the Nature Boy Ric Flair. Ric Flair, the dirtiest player in the game. Throughout the 80s in the NWA and WCW, he was one of the guys that really went out there and, would do whatever it takes to hold on to that title. Whether it be one of the horsemen to come out and interfere, whether it be put his foot on the ropes, whether it be, hit somebody with some brass knucks or tape fist or whatever. He was that guy. He did everything he had to win a match, and it pissed off the fans. I mean, so many great rivalries. God, we could go down the list here. You got Ricky Steamboat, you got Sting, you got Lex Luger, he did in the 80s, all them. I mean, of course, later on he had Hogan, you had the Warrior, he had rivalries with Macho Man, but everybody took on always drew money. And that's the list of this, a lot of this too, is people who drew money as a bad guy. That's another big qualifier to me, that mattered. And I would definitely, and this is, this list here that I have right, you can't see, but this list here, you could switch this around any way and make it, fit how you would see it. But I see a lot of these guys will probably be on most people's list. There's some guys I left off. I'm not going to lie there. There's some guys that, I didn't feel would make it, but you might. I'd definitely like to hear that. But here is my number one. Number one guy. I'm having too much fun. Can you tell with a camera? Number one. The Hot Rod, Roddy Piper. I mean, that guy there, you think about it. That guy drew so much heat, especially in the 80s. You think about WrestleMania 1, his match with Hogan. Without Piper, I don't know how well Hogan would have done, because they had great chemistry together. I mean, he had rivalries with Jimmy Superfly Snuka, where he cracked him upside the head with a coconut. The man could always cut a promo. He had Piper's Pit. I mean, that should tell you why the man could cut a promo if he had his own show. I mean, that guy was definitely top of the line. Not another guy that should have won the world title. Just even if a short instance would have been fine with me, but should have held the world title. Really, really should have. One of the greatest heels in this business, in my opinion. And a great worker in the ring as well. And the big thing was he could draw money. He was one of the guys that you wanted on the main event card. And he main evented a lot, especially in his time frame. I mean, even afterwards when he was, after Hogan and him, and he went later on, he wrestled Bret Hart. I mean, even that was still good. Even as a baby face, people loved him, when he turned that part. But it wasn't for too much. But his heel time, yeah, probably one of the best in the business. That's my opinion on my top 10 there. I'm going to come up with a couple more videos today. But thank you for tuning in. If you can, like, share. Give me your thoughts. That's what I'm really wanting to see. I like to embrace debate. So if you guys have a top 10, please let me know. I like to see this because not everybody thinks the same. And that's why I appreciate these videos. Thank you for tuning in. Take care.